Hello and welcome to this week's casual review. I'm Fred, and this time we're talking about South Park: The Stick of Truth. Before we dive into it, if you are new to this channel and you just came across us, welcome. Glad you're here. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. Glad to have you back. So, South Park: The Stick of Truth. Well, what can we say about it that hasn't already been said? Well, let's talk about the stuff that's already been said about it. Is it like an episode of South Park? Yes, it is. You are a new kid and you are more or less recruited right off the bat and drawn into a massive neighborhood-wide or town-wide LARPing live action role play experience involving uh, Cartman, Butters, Kenny, Jimmy, Stan, and Kyle. Three on one side, three on the other, and you're kind of caught in the middle at first. Initially, you're with Cartman's crew, and then over the course of the game, you end up all being recruited or captured, and the, to join up with Kyle and Stan. So you get to hang out with all the various characters, uh, at least those core six over the course of the entire game. Some more than others. Butters is like your initial companion, and things kind of roll from there. But with how this game looks and sounds, if you took out all the gameplay elements and just focus on the story, it is literally a 3 part story of just that I believe would fall after the events of the I think there was a console war one or two-parter that involved like the release of the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 that came out or that was coming out that released right around the time this game was in its final stages of development, so everything kind of worked out perfectly. So those 2 episodes in their own way act as a prequel to why all the characters are doing this live action role play uh, on such a such a grand scale. But all the characters look as they should look. Everyone sounds exactly as they sound, and there are tons of references all throughout the course of the game. Something as simple as finding the Osimo costume in Cartman's closet, all the way to finding Chef or a zombie version of Chef towards the end of the game. So again, so if you are a South Park fan, there is a ton of stuff to look out for. If you're not a South Park fan, then there's a ton of stuff you have no idea what the hell you are looking at, unless you're being thorough and trying to find all the collectibles, such as finding all the Chim Pokemon, meeting every single character to get them on your Facebook friends list, finding every single piece of armor and costume piece, and finding every single individual weapon. So again, there is a ton to do there, and not everything can be done in a single playthrough, but nearly everything, if you're a completionist, can be done in a single playthrough. Some the 2 things that have to be done in 2 separate playthroughs involves selling an excess amount of items, as well as buying an excess amount of items. So that can be done in a single playthrough. But then you have to do a playthrough where you don't sell anything, and so which will involve heavy farming of every single enemy to make sure you can get all the currency you need to make sure to buy your supplies, as well as buy the best weapons in the game, which the katana, which I think is available in Jimbo's shop. It's a level 14 weapon I found to be the best melee weapon in the overall game with the amount of damage it can do. You get a ton of customization options, like for your weapons, your melee weapon, your range weapon, as well as your helmet, body, and glove garments, where you can give yourself buffs, extra protection, or enable you to do excessive amounts of damage and apply additional status effects if the weapons that you are using are not do not apply status effects of any kind naturally. So you can make them better, make them more harmful to the various enemies that you encounter over the course of the game. So a lot of again, a lot of customization there. Um, so there's that. Music wise, and the music kind of is what it is. There's not really much of a soundtrack. You get a nice little tune that kind of fits the role playing vibe as you're wandering as around South Park. But other than that, the music itself, there really is not really much to speak of. Um, Even the battle themes, it is it's kind of like, it's fine, it's there. It's like it's not particularly memorable. There are a few like musical cues that reference specific things. You get up to Canada, the Blame Canada tune will play in like an 8-bit rendition as you're roaming around up there. But beyond that, again, the music is not really something to write home about, which I'm hoping is not the case with with the sequel game, the Fractured Butthole, which I'm looking forward to eventually playing. Let's see. Controls, inventory management. It is very straightforward. Anytime you do an attack, you are kind of like prompted to do like an additional button press to ensure that you're doing as much damage as possible, or otherwise you do very little damage. There is one criticism I have as it relates to controls is that a lot of times it involves like quick time events, like rotating the left analog stick an excessive amount of times, which can, of course, wear down an analog stick. I'm not fond of games that have you do uh, these types of motions with it. It's like I am not fond of that or heavy button mashing. Unfortunately, that is a thing with the stick of truth. There, of course, that was a style of the time in the like 2014 when the game came out. So that kind of is what it is. If I have to find something negative beyond the music to complain about, the fact that you can kind of wear down a controller while playing it with, so that kind of is what it is there. As you're roaming around, there are times where you can just avoid combat and take enemies out at range without having to engage them. So there is a nice little puzzle element to it. Matter of fact, there are a lot of puzzles throughout the course of the game in terms of like how do you get past various barriers and trying to figure out what the hell you need to do. And despite playing this game before several years ago, playing the Steam version, like I think I played the Steam version back in like 2017, 2018, something like that. I didn't remember a lot of the puzzles and what needed to be done. Where I ended up like where I actually had to find myself looking up like how the hell do I advance from a certain part. So and a lot of times it is blatantly freaking obvious. Let's see. Anything else we want to talk about here? No, I think I covered everything. Now the big question is here: would I recommend South Park: The Stick of Truth? Yes, but with an asterisk there. I do not recommend this game for younger gamers. So it's like if you're like a teenager, 15, 16, 17, on up, yeah, I do highly recommend it. It is a mature rated game, but the maturity level is not exactly um on display as it relates to a lot of the dialogue and humor of sorts. But again, it's not appropriate for younger gamers. No. But again, I do highly recommend it. If you're a fan of South Park, I highly recommend it. Um, Now, would I play this game again? And I would say I would, since my 2024 playthrough was my second playthrough of it. So, and I was playing the Xbox One version, and I like getting achievements. So, and I have incentive to go back and replay it to find the things that I screwed up on, to get the achievements that I missed, as well as to try and accomplish the other things that I totally missed out on. So yes, would I play it again? Absolutely. When I will play it again, I don't know, because there are a lot of other games I would want to play. The Fractured Butthole is, of course, something I have on my agenda. In addition to replaying, or not just replaying, but also taking my a whack at various other games that I hope that I would eventually get to talk about here on this pokey little channel of mine. Anyway, those are my thoughts, my opinions, my ranting and raving. Thank you very much. Leave your thoughts regarding South Park: The Stick of Truth in the comments section below. I would love to know what you thought about this game, if you have played it before, or if you have any other questions, or if you have any questions for me. If you would be so kind, since we don't do the Patreon gimmick here, we do have there. I got my Stream Elements link. If you want to kick over a few bucks, I would greatly appreciate that. It helps keeps the lights on, and keeps the roof over the head, and all that jazz. So till next time, my friends, and you are my friends, tighten your friendship bracelets, stay safe, and we'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.